I have a bit of an obsession with finding the perfect carry-on bag. It's not just about loving travel, it's about the challenge. These days, more and more travelers are choosing to fly with carry-on only, and for good reason. It's faster, cheaper, and eliminates that heart-sinking moment at baggage claim when your suitcase never appears. But if you've ever tried to find a carry-on that actually fits everywhere, you know it's a minefield. Luggage companies often exaggerate their dimensions. Airline limits vary wildly. And even the same airline can enforce different rules depending on the airport or the day. So naturally, one of the questions I get most often is, will my bag fit? After years of travel, trial, and a few gateside heartbreaks, I've figured out the four things that almost always determine whether your carry-on makes it on board. 1. The plane itself. This is the biggest factor most travelers overlook. Not all airplanes are created equal. Some have overhead bins so large you could practically store a small car in them. Others can barely handle a winter coat. The two most common passenger aircraft you'll likely encounter are the Airbus A320 family and the Boeing 737 family. These workhorses dominate short and medium-haul routes worldwide. But even within those families, the bin space can vary dramatically. For example, a Boeing 737-800 with the newer Sky interior bins can easily fit most standard carry-on's wheels first, like books on a shelf. Meanwhile, an older 737 or smaller Airbus A319 may only allow bags sideways, and even then, it can get tight. If you're flying on a regional jet, like a CRJ, Embraer 175, or Dash 8, space is even more limited. On those smaller aircraft, even bags that technically meet airline size limits often get gate-checked simply because the bins are too shallow. Pro tip: check your aircraft type before you pack. You'll usually find it on your booking or boarding page. Look for terms like A320, 737, or CRJ 900. If you see one of the smaller regional jets listed, plan ahead. Pack your essentials, valuables, electronics, medications, into your personal item. That way, if your carry-on gets gate-checked, nothing important ends up in the cargo hold. If you're lucky enough to fly on a wide-body aircraft, the big international ones, those overhead bins are massive. You'll almost never have to worry about space. 2. The crew and gate agents. Next comes the human factor. No matter how perfectly your bag fits the airline's published dimensions, it's the gate agents and crew who ultimately decide whether it comes on board. And here's the truth: they don't all enforce the rules the same way. Some will give you a friendly nod and wave you through, even if your bag looks borderline. Others will insist you test it in the metal sizer, even if it clearly fits in the overhead bin. They see hundreds of bags a day, and the experienced ones can eyeball size with uncanny precision. Every once in a while, you'll encounter the dreaded "we're checking everything today" announcement. That usually happens when the flight is packed, running behind schedule, or when the crew just had to deal with a difficult passenger. Don't take it personally. They're just trying to keep things moving smoothly. The best thing you can do? Play by the rules. Not only does it save you stress, but it also helps everyone board faster. When travelers push the limits, chaos follows. Bins overflow, bags get jammed, and boarding delays ripple through the schedule. Those delays cost time, fuel, and money, which eventually trickle back to us in the form of higher fares or new baggage fees. So, the moral is simple. Choose a carry-on that's genuinely compliant. Airline crews know the reliable brands and dimensions by heart, and a rule-abiding bag means fewer chances of confrontation or forced gate checks. 3. When you board, you could have the most regulation-perfect carry-on in the world, but if you're the last person to board, you might still be out of luck. Overhead bin space is first come, first served. Once it's gone, and even small bags end up being gate-checked. Your boarding group is your bag's survival ranking. You'll see it printed on your boarding pass as something like Group 2, Zone 4, or A. Airlines assign these groups based on a mix of factors: ticket type, frequent flyer status, or credit card perks. Business class and elite passengers board first, followed by premium economy, then regular economy, and finally the basic fares. The earlier you board, the better your chances. When you're among the first few groups, you'll find open bins waiting. By the time the last few groups are called, passengers are cramming jackets, pillows, and duty-free bags into every spare inch of space. That's when even a perfectly sized carry-on might have to go below. If you often end up boarding late, here's how to improve your odds. Join the airline's loyalty program. Even low-tier members often board earlier than basic fares. Use an airline-branded credit card. Many include priority boarding as a perk. Pay attention to your fare class. Sometimes paying a little more bumps you up a group or two. If you're stuck in one of the last groups, plan accordingly. Keep your must-have items in your personal bag so you're not separated from them if your carry-on has to be checked at the gate. 4. Your fare type. This is the sneaky one, and it's become more important than ever. In the past, every economy passenger automatically had the right to bring a carry-on, but many airlines have quietly changed that. Today, your ticket type often determines whether you can even use the overhead bin. If you're flying business, premium economy, or a regular economy ticket, you're usually fine. You'll board earlier and have access to both a carry-on and a personal item. But if you book basic economy, that's where things get tricky. On several major airlines, like United, JetBlue, and WestJet, basic economy means personal item only. You can bring a small backpack or underseat bag, but no roller in the overhead. European low-cost carriers like Ryanair and EasyJet take it even further. They'll happily let you bring a small bag on board, but the overhead bin is off-limits unless you pay extra for priority boarding or an upgraded fare. Even some full-service airlines like Air Canada and Lufthansa now sell economy light fares that include a carry-on in theory, but you'll board so late that the bins are often full anyway. So before you book, always check the fine print. If you see phrases like no overhead access or personal item only, that's your signal to either pack ultralight or upgrade strategically. Sometimes paying $30 to $50 more for a standard economy fare gets you earlier boarding, guaranteed overhead access, and saves you the hassle of waiting at baggage claim. And don't fall for the bundles airlines love to offer. They can make it look like you're getting a great deal, but it's often cheaper to add only what you need separately. Whenever possible, book directly through the airline instead of third-party sites. Aggregators like Google Flights are great for comparing prices, but they often hide baggage restrictions until the last step. Always double-check what your fare includes before paying. The bigger picture: your plane, the crew, your boarding time, and your fare type. Those 4 factors decide whether your carry-on flies with you or rides below. But they also point to a bigger truth. Modern air travel has become a balancing act between convenience and compliance. Travelers are trying to save time and money, while airlines are trying to manage space and efficiency. Somewhere in the middle lies that sweet spot: a bag that fits, a ticket that boards early, and a smooth boarding process for everyone. If you want to make your life easier, start by investing in a carry-on that's truly airline compliant. Don't rely on marketing claims. Check the actual measurements yourself. Keep essentials in a smaller personal bag, and always plan for the chance that you might have to gate check. And most importantly, stay patient. Boarding a plane is a small lesson in shared space. Hundreds of people, all with different needs, trying to get to the same place. The smoother we make that process, the better everyone's journey becomes. Final thought. So the next time you're standing at the gate, clutching your roller bag and wondering, will my carry-on fit? Remember this: it's not just about the bag. It's about understanding the system. Know your plane, respect the crew, board early if you can. Choose the right fare. Do those 4 things, and 9 times out of 10, your carry-on will be right there with you, safe, accessible, and ready for takeoff.